So to help you prepare for your first field trip, um, this is an outline of the plant collection that you'll need to do for the Forest Ecology and Silvics course. So keep in mind a plant collection, what I'm talking about is not trees. So as urban foresters, we focus a lot on the trees. In forest ecology, I want to look more than just at the trees, but at the understory and the indicator species that can be used to help us identify forest types. So what I want you to collect are photographs of herbs or wildflowers, ferns, grasses, mosses, lichens, and shrubs. Shrubs is the only woody thing that we can allow. Understory plants and things like that, or sorry, understory trees, that's not going to be part of it. Okay, so it's just understory vegetation. The purpose of this is to help you to understand and see the relationship between trees and the associated flora, and also the plants that could be used as indicators for specific forest types or soil types. This is a mandatory component for this course, so please remember that. That it is mandatory that this is completed in order to get a credit from this course. In order to achieve a passing mark, I want to see that everything has been covered that has been asked in this overview. Photos are all original and taken by the student. Photos are in focus and taken with your student card or driver's license in it. So I need something to identify that you are, you're taking the picture, or you're at least present there. So there's a student card or a driver's license, something with your photo ID on it. I want to see 15 quality plants photographed with an overall professional look. So what do I mean by that? Well, I need to have something where the photo image quality is good enough so I can identify, and you can identify the plant later. You're going to need a good quality camera that's able to take good close-up pictures. A lot of people these days are using their smartphone, which is most of the time is fine. It takes good quality pictures, but I need something as long as you have good, crisp, clean images. That's going to be quite helpful. So, and of course, make sure it's handed in on the deadline. Deadline we'll go over in class. I'll make sure you have the due dates in class so you know when it's submitted. And do submit on D2L, please. So I'm asking you to put it in a PowerPoint presentation, the whole project, and you could submit it on D2L on the Forest Ecology and Civics course page. I'm going to skip down. You guys can read over learning outcomes and things of what I need you to kind of cover there. But things that you'll need when you go out into the field. So please bring, and I'll bring some of this stuff too, but things that you need to bring, you need to bring a camera, again, that takes very good quality pictures, and photo ID for the pictures that are in there. I'm going to be bringing a white piece of paper for you, and what that does is it just, we're going to use it to put kind of in the background or underneath the plant. The problem with photographing forest plants is sometimes they blend in with the ground. So the white paper is just going to help us to give it a backdrop so you can really see the ID features of the plant. I'm also going to bring along the FEC manual or Forest Ecosystem Classification Guide, and then that's what we're going to be using to help us classify the forest type that's out there. So again, we'll explain more. I'll explain more about that stuff out in the field. And then any plant ID guides. I've got about 3 different guides that I prefer using, depending on the forest types and things like that, the plants that we find. But if you have any ID guides, then please feel free to bring them along as well. Okay. So the process, this isn't just a random walk in the forest to take pictures. We're going to go to a specific forest type, and I want to take the pictures of plants from the forest type, because the purpose of this is to help use the plants to help us identify the forest type that we're in. Okay, and we're going to photograph 15 shrubs, herbs, ferns, mosses, grass, sedges, basically anything that is not a tree. Okay. Okay, and so we're going to work on 15. That is our key. What I'm going to ask you to do is take more than 15. You get to 15 trees, that's fine, but, or sorry, 15 plants, that's fine, but work on photographing more than that. Try to get 20, 25 if you can, because when you get back to your home or wherever you're going to do your ID, you might find that some of the photographs are pretty fuzzy or something, the quality doesn't turn out. Maybe you have trouble identifying it, or it's just not a good indicator species and you don't want to use it for this project. Then we can pitch that out later. Okay, so take more than 15 if you can. Complete a soil analysis that we'll work together with, and with all this information we'll work together in the lab while we're together using the FEC manual to come up with the forest type. Okay, with the PowerPoint presentation, just give me an introduction slide with your name, etc. A little slide on forest description, so the forest ecosite that is there, and a photograph of the forest, also a photograph of the soil profile with the horizons that we're going to auger when we're there. Okay, you're going to need, or I want to see, 15 species for the ecosite that best represent the ecosite. Okay, so some species are pretty general that you're going to find across most forests in a given area, but if we can find one that are more indicative of the site, so it'll be a little bit of research on your part, but again, that's why I want to see you take lots of pictures so you can kind of weed out the ones that are more indicative than not. If you are able, whenever you're photographing, if there is a fruit or a flower available, it is best to put that in as well. If with just the plant, that's one thing, but if you have the fruit or the flower, that just helps with the ID process to make it a bit easier. The more information you have, the better. Okay, common scientific names. I want to see the common name and the scientific name, please. And then the other part is I just want to see something, a comment or a little bit of information that's about the plant that makes it unique. Okay, so and this could be, a lot of field guides will have information about the medicinal values of understory plants. So it might be, give me the information about the medicinal value, or historically how it was used, or currently what's significant about that. Okay. There'll be a slide just kind of going over the ecosite, which is what's being shown down here. This will make more sense to you in the lab, this stuff, when we're actually together. I'll explain what that stuff is. Okay, and then a slide showing what is most indicative of the plants that we found when we're out there. Okay. Down here's a couple good examples of so the typical slides that I'm looking for. Okay, so if we look at this one, here's an example of a fern. Notice how they have a picture of the fern on the underside and of the entire plant. Okay, and of course there's the student card in there. Ferns in particular, you'll notice the spore pattern on the underside of the leaf. That is a key indicator feature for a lot of ferns. And then also the entire fern, just how its size for one, but also the way it branches out and things like that. Okay, then we've got our scientific name, our common name, and a little bit of information that you're going to tell about just the significance of that plant. Okay, moving over to the other one. Same thing, you've got the plant up here, the photograph, we've got the leaves, background is the white paper, so it helps us to isolate the actual leaf, and berries, so the fruit there is going to help us to better identify that plant. Okay, and then the same bit of information down here. Okay, so that's basically the slides that I'm looking for. If you have any more questions, just we'll talk about that further when we're in class.